Now, the first lesson is probably the most important lesson. We're going to teach you how to put your fingers onto the practice chanter properly. You keep your fingers straight, relaxed and loose. You do not use your fingertips. The only fingertip used is the little finger of the right hand. These lessons are intended for right-handed people, but if you're left-handed, simply change the hands round and put your left hand to the bottom. Now, taking the little finger of the right hand, place it on the bottom hole. Just the fingertip. Then the third finger on the next hole, the middle finger on the next, and your forefinger on the next hole. Do not use your fingertips. Place the thumb of the left hand on the top hole at the back. Your forefinger on the top hole at the front, middle finger on the next hole, and your third finger on the next hole. Remember, do not use your fingertips. Keep your fingers straight, relaxed and loose. Now, with all the holes covered, this note is low G. To make the next note, simply lift the little finger. That note is low A. The next note is B, and all you have to do is lift the third finger of the right hand. So now you have the little finger and the third finger of the chanter. It gets a little bit more complicated now. To make the next note, which is C, you must replace the little finger on the bottom hole and lift the middle finger all at the same time. One fluid movement, the fingers crossing in mid-air. This is a little bit difficult to get hold of at first. You will notice that you may put your little finger down first and then lift the middle finger, or vice versa. Don't worry, you'll soon get the hang of this change with the fingers crossing in mid-air. This note is C. So now you have the forefinger of the right hand and the little finger on the chanter and the two in between off the chanter. The next note is D, and all you have to do is lift the forefinger. So now you have the three fingers off the chanter and the little finger on the chanter. Now to go from D to the next note, which is E, you replace all the fingers of the right hand and lift the little finger. At the same time as you lift the little finger, you lift the third finger of the left hand. Once again, they cross in mid-air. You will find this a little bit difficult at first as well, but don't worry, it will come, I promise you. This note is E. To make the next note, simply lift the next finger, which is the middle finger of the left hand, as well as the third finger, so that now you have the third and middle fingers of the left hand off the chanter, as well as the little finger of the right hand. That is F. To make the next note, lift the forefinger as well as the other two. So you now have three fingers of the left hand off the chanter, as well as the little finger. Make sure you keep the thumb on the back hole. That note is called high G. The last note is high A. To make this note, you replace the third finger back on the third hole down, and at the same time you take the thumb off of the back hole. Once again, this is to happen all in one fluid movement. It will be tricky at first. You will be looking to see where the holes are, but don't worry, it will happen. Now, a good little tip for you. to get used to putting your fingers on the holes is to lift the chanter, try and get your fingers on to all the holes, lay it down, pick it up, do it again, lay it down, pick it up and do it again. You will find that each time you try this it gets easier and easier. Okay then, now that you've learned the finger positions, here is the scale. Now, as I said, this is probably the most important lesson you'll get. The more you practice this scale, the better. Now, here are some of the things to look out for. Going from B to C. Nice, clean changes is what we need. Going from D to E, it's got to sound nice and clean. To begin with, you will hear this. In between the changes you heard the low A. Now you want to eliminate this as quickly as possible. You don't want it to become a bad habit. The change has to be clean. High G to high A is another tricky change. You won't hear anything if the change isn't done correctly, but all the experts know what to look for. So if you're not doing it right, they will know.